The next thing in our service is a poem by Mary Oliver. This is her poem, Black Bear in the Orchard. And hopefully we'll have slides so that you can read it as I say it. Oh, there's a beautiful slide with a black bear and the name of the poem. So this is Black Bear in the Orchard by Mary Oliver. It was a long winter, but the bees were mostly awake in their perfect house, the workers whirling their wings to make heat. Then the bear woke, too hungry not to remember where the orchard was and the hives. He was not a picklock. He was a sledge that leaned into their front wall and came out the other side. What could the bees do? Their stings were as nothing. They had planned everything sufficiently except for this catastrophe. They slumped under the bear's breath. They vanished into the curl of his tongue. Some had just enough time to think of how it might have been, the cold easing, the smell of flowers and leaves floating in, then the scouts going out, then they're coming back and they're dancing. Nothing different but what happens in our own village. What pity for the tiny souls who are so hopeful and work so diligently until the time brings, as it does, the slap and the claw. Someday, of course, the bear himself will become a bee, a honeybee in the general mixing. Nature, under her long green hair, has such unbendable rules, and a bee is not a powerful thing, even when there are many as people in a town or village. And what more of catastrophe? Is it the sharp sword of God or just some other wild body loving its life? Not caring a whit, Black Bear blinks his horrible, beautiful eyes, slicks his teeth with his fat and happy tongue, and saunters on. We have just had a black bear lean into our front wall and come out the other side. I thought of this poem right away when I was reflecting on the events of this past week. We are all living in a new reality. We're all in our homes, and it's so strange because everything in my house seems perfectly normal. The fridge works and the stove works and the television works, the computer works. And yet, all around me, there's a sense of foreboding, there's a sense of panic, there's a sense of solidarity because we know that this COVID-19 is spreading among us, even as we seem safe and sound at home. In some ways, we are just like the bees in the poem. We literally have done everything we could think of to make enough food, to provide enough warmth, to make a home, to have our lives deliberate and planned and orderly. And then along comes something like a black bear and leans into it and destroys all of our best laid plans. Now, any of you who have ever been camping somewhere know that a black bear is a marvelous, beautiful, terrible thing. I actually love to see them, and I especially love to see them afar. I don't want them anywhere near my campsite because I know, given a chance, if I were not there, the bear would come in and it would tear apart every food sack it could get its hands on. And so as a precaution, whenever I'm not in camp or at night when I'm sleeping, I hang what is known as a bear bag. This is simply all your food in a bag on the end of a rope hung high in a tree. And the thing is, you have to get it at least 10 feet off the ground because a black bear standing on its hind legs can reach pretty high. And you have to get it at least 10 feet down from the branch because a black bear up on the branch will lean down as far as it can. And you have to get it away from the tree too. But if you do this, the black bears remain beautiful, precious, amazing creatures because you see, they frighten quite easily. They're not of any danger to you when they're up close. It's just if you give them the opportunity, they will take it. We are living in a world where, given the opportunity, this black bear in our midst will do whatever it can, whatever comes natural to it, to us. And so by isolating ourselves, by staying at home, by not going shopping or going to the grocery store when we only absolutely need to, we are like those bees who are getting ready for how to deal with this new reality. Because the poem doesn't say it. The poem says that the bear went off, stomach full, quite happy, quite satisfied with itself. But what the bees did next was just as important as what the bear did next. They remained calm. They took a look at the wreckage. They talked amongst each other. They listened to the queen. They decided, okay, do we stay here and try and rebuild this, or do we look for a new home? Because they did what bees do, which is remain calm. And after the disaster, after the catastrophe, they go ahead and they form their communities, and they care for one another, and they watch out for one another. And that's exactly what we are called to do as well. I know these are not easy times for any of us. Some of us are going to love being at home, or we're going to get a lot of projects done. Others of us are going to suffer terribly because we're used to having more people around us. We're used to having the freedom to just go where we'd like and do what we'd like. So we're all going to need each other in these days. And most of all, we're going to need to be patient with one another, especially when it comes to technology. For most of us, this is a brand new world, and we're going to have to be just fine with things looking a little homemade and things sounding a little bit tinny, because that's the world that we live in now. If we can focus on the connection between each other, and if we can focus on remaining calm, we will rebuild just like those bees surely rebuilt after the black bear had gone. In just a moment, we're going to hear some music, and I invite you to reflect a little bit on this question. What is your deep source of calm when all plans change? What is your deep source of calm when all plans change? And as the music plays, if you can type into the chat a word that is an answer that is 5 words or less, no sentences, no paragraphs, 5 words or less. What is your deep source of calm when all plans change? Then I'll read a few of those after the music has stopped. Please write down your answers now. Here are some of the things which provide us deep calm when all plans change. Writing and music, family, exercise, nature, friends, the ocean. Nature, developing plan B, BEE. Meditation and nature, warmth of the sun, snuggling and cooking. Spending time with my beloved, music, home, love. This too shall pass. Quiet contemplation. The peace of wild things. Connecting, savoring the continuity of love. My faith. Family time, nature. Meditation, movement, writing, breath, motion, wind, positive energy, watching the river flow, knitting, patting my sweet dog, gratitude for blessings of spring, gratitude journaling, lots and lots of walking in nature. It's coming up over and over again. Yoga, lots more nature. The home where I grew up, breathe in, breathe out, being with my cats, and lots more nature. Hold on to these things and more as we move through these days. Blessings on you all. Amen.